It's one of the main reasons the economy has gone from shrinking by 6% to growing at about 6%. It's one of the main reasons the economy has gone from shrinking by 6% to growing at about 6%.
Sheryl, here we are at the one-year anniversary of President Obama's stimulus program. He spoke about it today. What struck you most about what he said today?
You know, I think what struck me most was frankly the sales pitch that he was trying to make to the American public to say, hey, this thing actually worked. He said it created 2 million jobs, which we've heard him say before. He wanted to talk directly to Americans who don't seem to think that they got any tax relief from this bill. And he said, Americans, I want you to know 95% of you pay lower taxes as a result of this bill. He announced 50 new transportation projects would be funded by the measure, so a little announcement of goodies for some places around the country that are interested in high-speed rail or new port terminals and the like. And he tried to push back against criticism of Republicans, saying that they're all too eager to vote against the bill as they rush back home to their districts to scoop up the money from it.
Well, Sheryl, what about the criticism? First of all, that stimulus program just isn't big enough, and we're in such a deep hole in terms of jobs in this country that it just hasn't done enough. He needed to be bolder. How does he address that?
It's funny, he didn't really address that. I mean, that's the criticism that he's getting from the left, that this package should have been bolder and broader, and it would have done more to help the economy. You really don't hear that critique that much in the political discourse here in Washington anymore. With so much concern about the national debt and the deficit, the bigger critique of the Obama plan is the one Republicans put forward, which is that it hasn't created any new jobs. That, look, we've still got 9.7% unemployment, and many, many Americans are out of work and hurting, so how can the administration say this has created jobs? And the White House's response and President Obama's argument is look, hey, things would have been worse if we hadn't done this.
Now, Sheryl, I know you're doing a lot of reporting around this subject. You're going to get well beyond his remarks and even the back and forth criticism that we hear in Washington. So what's your assessment of whether this is working and whether this was a good idea?
Well, I think, you know, it's difficult to know because obviously we don't know. We don't have a comparison. We don't know what would have happened in the absence of this bill. But most economists, most mainstream economists say that this was the necessary step that had to be taken to save the economy from the next Great Depression.